Welcome everybody. Pursuit here, playing some Crash Landing. What I was here for today was to basically make a rundown of my system I've got here through Steve's Factory Manager of a sifting and crushing area here all in one. Currently we have the inventory manager itself. We've got a rapid item valve, which is made from a regular item valve and a piece of gold, a block of ingot of gold. We've got the block gate, and then we've got several inventory cables, and we've got a block gate behind there also. But let me run outside. I might have to kill a few of these skeletons so they don't try and kill me. And really, besides the skeletons, I'm not too worried about what's out here, because I've got currently a wall of water around here, so all the guys who drop in, goodbye, they end up inside my mob grinder. It has an iron spike at the bottom, so that's not a problem. But what I want to show out here, you can see a little bit better of the structure that's going on. I've got a redstone emitter and a redstone receiver to create a very fast pulse going, so I can process lots of the ore, as you see through the window there. And then I've got these cables to connect all of the different blocks together on the back side, so that makes it so that all of them will be accessible from the inventory manager. So let's go back inside, and I will show the, let me grab something to eat real quick, a food processing thing here. That's another video entirely. How's my water doing? My water's doing fine. Okay, so let me now show the inner workings of the inventory manager. There's a lot going on here, 48 commands worth. It took a little while to set up. Once I figured it out, it really wasn't too difficult. So first off, I've got the dusting, the Sieve. I know I spelled Sieve wrong in at least one of these places because I've got it spelled two different ways. I think it's IE. But anyways, I have a basic trigger here that just goes every 1 second, and I set that up so that I could turn this off and on if I don't want this part is actually the item, helps control the item valve also, but it is actually the output to the sieve. So every time, so this triggers, and we've got it so that the, let's see, the emitter is hooked on here too. So it gets triggered, it hits the emitter, which is outside there, and I've just got it on weak power and all sides because I don't care what else it hits. I've got it to toggle, so it'll turn it off and on every time, and I've got it every tick. And then we've got, as it does that, let me show it up above. So it emits, and then this trigger up here, because this is also a trigger, is set to redstone receiver. So since I have the emitter and the receiver next to each other, every time it sends a pulse, it receives a pulse, and which creates a really fast pulse. Basically, I think it maxes it out at its highest level. I think that's just it caps out. So not a big deal on that. Receiving on all sides because I didn't want to set it. It's not interfering with anything else. I don't care about that, and I just have it, of course, redstone control. This is the part that I had to change rather than on this one that has just the on interval. So we've got two ways of this going, and if I want to stop it, I just disconnect this, and I think it, let me make sure, I think if I just connect that, yeah, it stops everything. Throw this on the ground. Yeah, see the, oh no, the item valve is still working apparently. But you can turn that off too in another area. But I'm going to go ahead and connect this up so it continues to process my dust. So we've got the emitter, and then we've got the input. So we've got it coming from a chest, and I'll show you which chest here in a minute. And it's just I selected down as a default, and then I'm whitelisting, and I've got dust here, but I've got it set to match all and only one. So it'll send one item, and I put the dust in here because if you had it just blacklisted, it would send stacks of it. But whereas you specify an item, you can specify an amount and match all. So I've got it so that it's sending any item at all that's in this chest right here to the output, which is the block gate. So let me finish explaining. I'll go show you what I'm talking about here if it didn't make sense. And then I've got it blacklisted because I already told it to only send one item, so I don't care about the rest of that. So like I said, it's telling it to pull items from this chest, so whatever ends up here, like the gravel keeps ending up here, so it's trying to process the gravel. Because I said dust and match all, it sends it to the block gate, and it throws it down, and if there's, it basically tries to, like I'm doing right here, it basically tries to right-click the item that's there, or if there's nothing to right-click, it places a block, which is how you normally, if you're holding an item and you, like if I'm holding a piece of dust and I right-click, it places it. It's doing the same thing. If there's a thing here that accepts a right-click as an action, it will do the function instead. So that's how that's working. And then, so I think I explained all of that part of it, the actual sieving and just pulling out of that chest and sieving it, and the rapid pulse that's going on there. And then we've got the send process, which is a workout of where items go, which I think I'll come back to because I need to explain some of the processes that happen first. So let's see. Well, let's just go ahead and go from here then. This will work. So this is another trigger. It's just set to an interval. So it checks every second. I've got it set with a flow control here, like I do. I don't know if you've seen these flow controls before, but you can basically select how you want them to split the connections. And the connections. So the connections I have right now is 1 to 5. The other one I have 5 to 1 because I have, depending on whether you want 5 inputs or 5 outputs. So this one I just selected 5 because I wanted more than 2, and same with that one, I selected 5 because I wanted more than 2. So I've currently got it so that we've got it either sending things to the sieve chest or to the crush chest. So right now I don't have anything being sent to the crush chest, and what I mean by not anything, of course the ores that need reprocessed are being sent down there, but the additional items that I want to be sent. So if I wanted to crush my sand, I would hook this up to here and then put the flow up to here. If I wanted the sand to be crushed into dust, which you wouldn't want because you have plenty of dust, but if I wanted the sand to be sieved, I would put it here. So this is saying that let me show you. All these are basically the same. I've just had them set to different items to be sent to make it a little easier on me. But they're all being pulled from the gold chest. I've got the basic ones that you would process, and then I've got an extra one here that's set to specify things that you would like to, and I just set it for soul sand. I don't have anything special that I want to be sieved at the time, but anything extra that I want I can set up here, or I can make another one of these little input tabs, whatever you call them. So the gravel and the sand one look the same, so let me show you the gravel one. Your basic default of down, pulling from the golden chest. Then I've got it whitelisted for the gravel, nothing special set here because I'm just telling it to send it to the proper chest. And then we've got the flow controls for which ones we want to send to, and then we've got it outputting the Sieve one outputs from outputs to the sieving chest, which is the one that was up in the right upper corner, and I've got it to whatever default down. That's my default, and then blacklisting, because anything that ends up there I want to be just put in that chest, so I don't really care. I've already specified the types that I want set in other ways. The crushing one, basically the same concept. We're pulling it from, we're putting it out, out to the chest, which is the one in the bottom left here, and we've got it set to default target, and then blacklisting includes the same with the sieving one. We've already got it set previously up here what items we want sent there. So this is processing, basically, if that didn't make sense, this is processing any items that end up in the golden chest to send them to either be sieved or crushed, depending on which things I've connected up to these different items. So the crushing, the sieving one being this chest, and the crushing one being this chest down here. So that's that part explained. Then we have the Get Loose tab here, which I've separated out because I had way too much stuff together. And I've got it on your basic trigger, which I can turn off if I want to, but I've also got it connected to the redstone receiver. The same one that I've got set up on the sieving one is doing this one also. So if I disconnect this, it will stop pulling items into the chest. So I've disconnected it. See, all the items are just going to stack up right there as it throws them all out. Connect it back up, and it will pull them all in pretty quickly. But I've got that set up so I can disconnect it in case this rapid item valve have a certain distance that it will do things. Like, say I have to turn it off. Say I wanted to get some of this blaze powder. If I click to get some blaze powder, I'm never going to get it up there. I have to turn it off to get this stuff out. I'm not using it that much, so right now it's just for my storage space. But instant it pops out, it gets shot back into this chest, and then it'll get sent back up into that. So you actually have to turn off the item valve. That's one of the downsides. The upside of item valve is you don't have to have direct line of sight. It does a radius area, but it does grab from places you might not want, like through walls or from other areas of the room. You just have to be careful of that. I'm not sure what the distance is. I think it's somewhere around, I want to say like 4 to 8 blocks from it. That's just a guess, but it can pull from, this rapid item valve can pull from this area down here, and when I throw stuff on the ground here, but if I throw it back here somewhere, it doesn't usually pick it up. So it's got a pretty acceptable range, I'd say, like most of your item collectors do, like the vacuum hopper and stuff like that. So I've got the rapid one going here and the regular trigger going here. So basically, if I turn off the rapid part, I still wanted to be able to collect items. It would just collect them a lot slower. So I left both triggers going. So this is the inventory. Like I said, the rapid item valve, it's pulling into, and it didn't really care which one that target, and just pick up everything. I could tell it to blacklist certain items if I didn't want them getting pulled in, but right now it doesn't matter to me. Everything's good. And I've got it outputting to 2 different areas because I'm always going to have dust coming out, and I haven't seen any reason to send my dust anywhere else. I'm having the dust have its own individual output. Only one place I want it to go to, so it will always go to the sieving chest, because it's using those to activate the sieve, and it's also using them to actually sift them. So that you'll have extra items that just need to be pulled up all the time. And I've done this rather than using an autonomous activator, which you could do also, because it's much faster than an autonomous activator, and because it's much cheaper to build than a second autonomous activator. So Multiple reasons I found that to be beneficial. So those are being sent to the sieving chest, and then everything else I'm having sent to the gold chest, because I process them from there to the other locations that they go. So I'm just blacklisting everything to be sent into that. So that will pick up everything in the room that's anywhere close to this rapid item valve, or it'll even pick up, like you see, there's some a feather. Occasionally there's arrows in here or whatnot. Not as much anymore because I've got my board around with water, but it would occasionally suck up some of the mob drops that die outside the window there. I need to swap out my water. Go set it to my refill chest. My automatic refill chest. Nice little thing there going. So we're done with that part, I think, explaining the item collection. So we'll go back out of this tab. We'll go to the let's go ahead and do the move packageable. That's as good as any place to go now. And it's a really simple one here. You got a basic trigger checking the chest of the gold one. If the target doesn't matter, and I've set it to all items that can be packaged, meaning 4 of them or 9 of them in a crafting area in a block will make them into a block size one. So I've got everything that I thought would be processed. I can add others on. Well, actually, I can't add very many on later. I've pretty much filled this up. I could just create a second input one here with a flow thing to work, but I'm just a little ways away from needing that right now. And then they're outputting to the packaging chest, which is the one just to the right of the packager, the wooden chest. Don't care which side, and just blacklist everything because all those that I put input I wanted to send to the output. So that's that part of it, sending it from the gold chest to this chest right here to process them. Next I have we're most of the way through here now, so just hang with me. We have the crusher system, which is not too complicated either. We've got the chest to the crusher. So this is just, I labeled it, it's just a basic trigger though. And then we've got, so it's coming from the crushing chest that's down in the bottom left of these machines, and it's being sent to the item gate, the block gate. And I've told it whatever location, doesn't matter. And then I've told it on this part, I've said whitelist, and I told it the cobblestone, and it's doing more than cobblestone because I've said match all, and I've said specify 1. Because if I don't, it will try and send stacks of items there, which need to be pulled up by the item gate if they get dropped, which just causes a lot of extra work on the system, and occasionally blocks fly out of range. And so I think I was actually losing some stuff before I set it up to properly handle all items from that chest. So that's the way you do all items though. Match all, specify 1. That way I've only got 1 item sitting right down here at a time to be smashed. To be crushed. Smashed, crushed, broken, obliterated. Not obliterated, because we get something from it. You get the point. And then the ores that we want to be crushed also, we're sending to the chest. So they'll be ready to be sent through this system. So we've got them pulling from the golden chest on a trigger of 1 second from the golden chest, from whatever location, doesn't matter. And then I've just got labeled all the ones that would be processed. I think I sent it to 2 different chests. Sent it to both, yeah, the gold chest and the wooden chest. So sometimes they will end up in the golden chest, and that was mainly before when they were sending stacks. Now it's only sending items. I don't think it's having to use the gold chest, but I'm just going to leave it selected in case it messes up again, in case I mess up again. But it's pulling everything from the crushing chest that's down in the bottom left and the golden chest, and I've just got it labeled which items I want to be sent to that chest. So I basically got all of your gravels and sand items that still need to be processed further using the hammer in the autonomous activator here. So that's that part of it. That wasn't too complicated, I hope. And last of all, I've got the crafting of the hammer. And this was actually one of the hardest things to figure out. It kept on malfunctioning on me, and I couldn't figure out why. But I got a basic trigger set here. I've got the what is this? This is a conditional statement. If you press Control, by the way, it tells you what it was originally labeled as. So this one is a control one. So it's saying that check the autonomous activator, and if on the west side you find a stone hammer, do nothing. But if there isn't a stone hammer there, then process to the rest of this. And so the west side is going to be the opposite side from where we're looking. So the west side being, you have to have this selected as orange, which is the output. So it checks the output side to see if there is a hammer that it could pull, or that it could. It only checks the output side. You can't put it as the input side, but it checks the output side to see if there is a hammer. Because most of the time it's checking inventory that could be pulled out, I think is probably why it's checking the output side as orange. Both of these need to be selected, both an orange and a blue. You can't just leave these blank and think that it'll check like it would on a regular chest. It actually needs to be selected. So it will check to see if there's a hammer in here. And if there is no hammer, I have nothing set for the true, but if there's no hammer, then I also wanted to check another conditional statement to see if there are, in the golden chest, if there are sticks. So if there are sticks, and I could set it up to craft sticks, but it only, with a stack of 64 sticks, I get 32 hammers, so I don't think I'm going to run out anytime soon. So that's why I've just said to select the sticks, and I'll just put some in there as I need it. So if it does have sticks, then it says continue on. And then we've got it to check on another conditional to see if there are cobblestones. And right now, that meaning in the golden chest, which is where all my process stuff is being sent. All the things processed from the sieve and the crusher is being sent to that chest. The sieve is the only stuff we care about here. But I'm saying to check and see if there is cobble there, and check and see if there is 2 pieces, because it takes 2 sticks and 2 cobble to make a hammer. And I think this conditional is also checking for 2. Yes, it's checking for 2 sticks. So we're checking for both 2 sticks and 2 cobble. So yes, if there's sticks, and then yes, if there's cobble, then we go to the next part. If there is not any cobble, we've got it to craft from the golden chest. We've got it to take 8 of these stones, which takes 8 stones to craft 2 pieces of cobble. So we're doing, if it was true, go this way. If it's false, then we need to make the cobble. And then I've got it to output back to the gold chest. So the next time it runs this scenario, it'll say, okay, if it didn't have any, it's going to make some, and then a second later it's going to trigger this sequence again. It's going to say, okay, we've got some now. Let's go down here and let's craft the hammer now. So we've got, from the gold chest, we're saying I want 2 cobble, 2 sticks, and then we will craft the hammer. So the crafting recipe, very simple: 2 sticks, 2 cobble, and I think the excess inventory I have set just back to the gold chest, because I should have plenty of room in there, and there's nothing that it actually needs to send back there. That's just its default setting that it needs to check anyways. then we've got it outputting. So after it crafts that, we've got it outputting to the autonomous activator. And this is the other part. Like I said, up here we were checking to the orange side to see if there was a hammer. Down here we are saying to input to the, let's move this up, to the east side, which was the blue side. You've got to make sure you get it on the right side or else it will not work properly. And to send the hammer. So let me show that part real quick. If I pull out, just to show you that it worked entirely, there's no cobble in here. If we pull out the hammers from here, and it's, let me show one more thing here real quick. This checking the hammer, I forgot to show you that we're checking the hammer if there's any hammers, but we're also checking fuzzy detection. So if it's damaged at all, it will still count towards the number of hammers, and once the hammers are used up, they break and they disappear. So you don't have to worry about hammers that won't work being in there. So it will output into this. We're trying to get it output here. So once I pull out this hammer, it should add another one to autonomous activator. It's doing its processing. There we go. It had to make both the two pieces of cobble, and then it made the hammer. So it took a second to get done, but that's really not that long to wait, especially with how slow my processing is going. So look, I'm missing 2 sticks, and I'm just leaving these as in the stone form right now because they have many different uses, and once you make them in a cobblestone, you can't unmake them from cobblestone, as far as I've been able to tell. So, you know, these can be used to make seared stone, they can be used to make cobble. So I'm not currently processing them into cobble. I can do that easily enough in my personal crafting grid. So I think that is the entirety of the system, and something I do have to pay attention to is the fact that this thing is still trying to process gravel at the same time it's trying to process dust. If you wanted to fix it, you'd have to pull out all the dust, I think, here, or tell it to only process the gravel if you really, really needed the gravel, but I don't care if it takes a little while, I'm fine. It's just got the one. If you do a full stack here, like of 8 or something, it'll usually process through most of the gravel pretty fast. The larger the stack, the faster it's going to process it. So I'm not too worried about having one piece that's just there, still trying to get processed. That's fine by me. So I think that's the explanation of the entire system. If I think of anything else here, I guess I'll add it, but you know, we've got the sieving, the crushing, the packaging, the sorting of it up to the smeltery. Pretty much, I think I'm pretty much ready to process anything that needs sieved or crushed in the future. I just had to add a few more functions to it, and it's all ready to go though. So thanks for watching. This has been Pursuit. I hope this video was helpful. If you want a tutorial on my other items here, the one that does the creating of automatically making some food, or the one for doing the water, the auto filling of the camel packs, check my other tutorials. So again, thanks for watching, and bye for now.